Hello and welcome to VOA's Red Carpet. My name is Jackson Vunganye. Thank you so much for joining us today. On this episode of Red Carpet, we take a look inside West African restaurant Mansa Kunda in Maryland. We speak to photographer Tamibe Bourdanne, and a young woman creates black dolls in Brazil. Let's get on with the show. And let's start with some highlights of the latest entertainment news from around the world. In film news, the biblical epic The Book of Clarence, executive produced by Jay-Z, directed by James Samuel, and starring Lakeith Stanfield, will make its theatrical debut in January 12th of 2024. Jay-Z recently returned to Instagram to promote the film. In fashion news, models with disabilities took to the runway at New York Fashion Week, wearing clothing designed to meet their needs. And in sports news, Cleveland Browns linebacker Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah was seen proudly wearing his traditional Ghanaian attire to mark his debut in this year's NFL regular season. In more sports news, Nigerian Barcelona Femeni striker Asisat Oshoala and Napoli's hitman Victor Osimhen have been nominated for the 2023 Ballon d'Or award. This marks the first time in history that two Nigerian players have been recognized in the same year for the prestigious award. The Nigerian duo joined a list of iconic African players to be nominated for football's most prestigious award, such as JJ Okocha, Kanu Nwankwo, and others. Liberia's George Weah is still the only African to have won the award in 1995. The U.S. capital, Washington, D.C., is regarded as one of the most important cities in world politics. But besides its politics, the city is also recognized for its diversity as host to a vibrant immigrant community, one that contributes to its socio-cultural fabric through music, culture, and most notably through food. Together with my colleague Lionel Gahima, we visited Mansa Kunda, a restaurant in Takoma Park where local diners gather to enjoy the culture and cuisine of West Africa. Let's take a look. Tucked away in this Washington suburb of Takoma Park is Mansa Kunda, a restaurant that has been described as a gateway into West Africa, from the food to its decor. Originally from the Gambia, Mansa Kunda founder Hatib Diouf tells me that even though he is not a trained chef, he wanted to share an important part of his culture with the rest of the world: food. With that in mind, Diouf designed a menu that reflects a selection of his favorite dishes that he enjoyed growing up in Gambia. He serves the food in a space decorated with all kinds of authentic cultural artifacts, art, and furniture from his homeland.
So I've picked dishes from Gambia, Senegal, which is the same. Gambia is like the heartbeat of Senegal. We're right in the middle of Senegal. Yeah. And then you have Sierra Leone. Then you have Liberia, Ghana. We have food that is incorporated with shito. And then we have Nigerian food. Ivorian, we have acheke. Also, myself, a vegetarian. I used to be the person who will go to an African restaurant, or perhaps not an African restaurant, and ordering a salad here.
The restaurant attracts clients of all backgrounds, and one of the frequent customers is Johari Abdul Malik, a local imam who started patronizing the restaurant after his trip to Senegal and Gambia. He says that Mansa Kunda serves as a bridge for the local community to experience the West African culture.
The other part of this that for me is fascinating is that as we bring people who are Americans here, it is a kind of gastronomic tourism. They get to taste Africa while being in America. They taste the flavor of Africa in America, which then begins to bring it closer together.
Originally from Ghana, Kwame says that aside from enjoying his favorite dishes like fufu, he appreciates the other aspects of the food culture at Mansa Kunda, like the custom of washing his hands in a gourd before digging into his favorite dish.
When they brought the fufu out, I was surprised because it looked just like my kind of food from Ghana. The okra soup, the stew, the meat, the fufu, everything looked just like what I would have back home, my grandmother would have made for me. And when I ate it, it was right on point, right on point.
And let's get to some photography news. Tamibe Bourdanne is a photographer who is passionate about capturing the beauty and diversity of the African continent. He spoke to VOA's Kali Abdu about his work, his mission to share the stories of Africa with the world. Here is more.
I feel like I was always kind of attracted to art and like visual things since like a young age, and then but I was living in Ivory Coast, so I was born and raised in Ivory Coast, then moved to the UK, and then through schools, and like my best friend does videos, and he was kind of always pushing for me to like try it, maybe get a camera, and like as a joke, and I was like, you know what, let me actually get a camera. So got a first job, bought my first camera, and yeah, since that it's been a passion. And then it was kind of also like battling my African parents for them to accept it, for me to do it. So that was like being in London, I was doing economics, then I was like, guys, this is not really working out, photography is really my thing. And also being in London and being around creative people, I was like, I'm in the midst of things, so let me just try and learn about things. And they accepted for me to do photography, then went to the course, did my 3 years of that, and I feel like it was like a progression. As I went to university, I was more interested in, I would say, architectural photography. I didn't understand the people side of things more. And as time went on, I was like, let me add people into the mix, and more, I was like, okay, people are actually my main interest. Like buildings were just maybe a way of escaping, interacting with people. But as more time went on, it's like you have to face your fears and get right in it. And yeah, so that's how I just started to shoot a bit more people. And even through that, moving also to the UK kind of opened a new way of me for seeing, because being born in Ivory Coast, I'm not even Ivorian. So my dad is from Chad and my mom is from Nigeria. So that was also something that became a bit heavy, like the sense of identity and like where you're from. So I started going back home a bit more, especially to like Nigeria and Chad, and then things became a bit more clear with the work of like, okay, this is the angle you're trying to go from, and yeah, you just need to be going back there and make those trips. Last year I did a residency in Benin, and that's where it opened the whole spirituality world for me within my work as well, because it was like a 1 month residency in this city that's an hour away from the capital, and it was quite open. So it was like, go there for 1 month and just shoot. Everything is like paid for, everything is looked after. So yeah, just go and make work. So as I got there, it was like, wow, this is another world that I never experienced and never witnessed, and this is also something that's really big in Africa. And it's like a lot of countries has their own way of doing things and have different religion, and yeah, I just got thrown into it, and I really loved it.
One of the world's most popular apps, TikTok, is under growing scrutiny in Kenya over what critics see as explicit content, hate speech, and offensive behavior. An activist has petitioned Parliament to ban the Chinese app, even as millions of young Kenyans use it for entertainment, social connections, or even to make money. Let's go to Nairobi, where Francis Ontoma reports.
Then you end up with something that is so messy.
Anna Montez is a minor TikTok sensation. She shares live tutorials on makeup artistry at least 3 times a week. Not long ago, she had a conventional job, but quit to concentrate on her passion. Today, Montez says she's making more money than her job ever offered.
I've seen myself get followers. I've seen myself grow up to 20,000 new followers in like 2 weeks. And with that comes customers, comes interactions, comes brand collaborations, a lot of things. So that has been a new experience, interesting, and I'm loving this space.
Montez is just one of millions of Kenyans who use TikTok and one of a growing group leveraging the social media platform to try to make a living. but Monte's prospects could be threatened if an activist has his way. Bob
System
Ndolo, an IT specialist and a father of two, wants
who is
TikTok shut
driving,
down in Kenya.
when he gets sick,
He recently submitted a
stop
petition
later.
to Parliament
Yeah.
asking lawmakers to consider a ban on the app.
With TikTok, you go to a live coverage and you'll find those young girls that you can call your sister, your auntie, your mother. They are all there, yeah, half naked. And what they are doing, they are selling their bodies.
According to a 2023 survey by Reuters Institute Digital News report, Kenya is a global powerhouse in the use of TikTok. 54% of Kenyans utilize the platform for various reasons. The Kenyan government says TikTok and other social media apps contribute $3 million every month to Kenya's economy. Francis Ontomwa for VOA News, Nairobi.
In a population where 54% of Brazilians are of African descent, only 7% of the dolls sold in the country are black. As a child and teenager, Josie Belisario tried to look for toys that represented her color, but she couldn't find any. In 2017, she created the Aneesa store, the first e-commerce store dedicated only to toys with a black phenotype. Josie, who is also a kindergarten teacher, takes the dolls into the classroom and helps her students recognize themselves in the toys' features. Here's more.
I
am Josie, the creator of the store Aneesa, which is the first e-commerce specialized in black dolls in Latin America. And this story started because I wanted to give a gift to a child, and I couldn't find a black doll anywhere. There were those baby dolls, but she didn't want one. And she was already a little girl, and I wanted a doll that represented her. I went to many stores, 3, 4, 5. They were nowhere to be found. I was very frustrated. And I decided that somewhere in the world there was a black doll, and I found it on an international website. I bought it. It took a long time to arrive, around 4 months. But when it arrived, my heart was racing. And that passion I had for the doll, I didn't want to give it to anyone anymore, and I kept it for myself. I ended up creating an Instagram account for her. Everywhere I went, people wanted it too. I ended up saying that if they wanted it, I would buy it for them. But there was a time when I already had 15 orders in, and then I thought, if I buy more dolls, people won't have to wait. And everyone would say, give a name to this doll, the Josie's doll. And then I had this name in my heart, Aneesa. And the Aneesa store was born. So with Aneesa, we can sell dreams. The girl can dream. In my time, anything about black people in the media was negative. Today, I'm a trainer in my school, and I'm in other schools teaching and sharing with teachers how to play, how to bring this issue of positive representation alive with the dolls, with the children. So, with just one doll, we can promote self-care. So we take this doll, bathe it, change its clothes, teach the children that it's important to bathe. That fresh smelling is important, and they take this into the house. I love what I do because I inspire other teachers and inspire children and future mothers. It's like that. That's sensational for me. Anna is a 5-year-old, and she told me something that really touched my heart. She told me, I always wanted to play doctor, but I could only be a patient because there are no doctors that look like me. And then with the doll doctor, she was able to see herself in that place. That was amazing for me, when the child sees herself as the same, sees herself as similar. I want to educate teachers the way I learned, playing and adding anti-racist practices in the class for them to replicate.
And thanks for watching VOA's Red Carpet. My name is Jackson Vunganye. For more entertainment news, remember to check us out at voaafrica.com. We are also on Facebook, on Instagram, and on YouTube. Do not forget to like, to share, and to subscribe. Until next time, goodbye everyone.